Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Idahoan Show. I recently filmed a demonstration on how to set up a stabilizing harness on an AR-15 pistol. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to use it. For starters, let me show you how to get into the harness in the first place. The loop between the buffer tube and the grip goes over your strong shoulder, and the other leg of the harness goes over your head. So any way you want to get into it is fine with me, but what I like to do is pick up the long loop with my support hand, insert my firing hand through the other loop, and then pull the loop up over my head. The harness serves two functions. It can be used as a shooting aid and as a carrying aid. First, let's talk about using it as a shooting aid. The concept of the stabilizing harness is that you push the gun forward against tension in the loop that passes over your strong shoulder. This tenses up your muscles, making your stance more rigid, and the tension in the strap constrains the motion of the gun, both of which contribute to making it easier to hold the gun steady. Of course, if you can use your support hand to take up some of the weight of the pistol, that helps too. A stabilizing harness works kind of like a stock in reverse because you're pushing the gun forward against tension in the harness instead of pulling a stock into your shoulder. Thus, most of the stances that have been developed for shooting rifles can be adapted to shooting a pistol with a stabilizing harness. To begin with, I can take an offhand position by pushing the gun forward with my firing hand on the grip while supporting the weight of the barrel with my support hand on the handguard. If I want to make this position more stable, I can bring my support hand around the backside of the magazine well and rest my support elbow on my hip. This stance is roughly analogous to the Olympic standing position used with rifles, and from this position I can shoot a pistol with a harness every bit as accurately, if not more so, than I can shoot a rifle from any standing position. However, if I want to get even more stable, I can sink down into a military squat, also called the rice paddy prone position. Here, my heels are flat on the ground and my elbows are resting inside my knees. I can also assume a cross-legged sitting position, again resting my elbows inside my knees. Finally, if I want to shoot prone, I can lie down at about a 30-degree angle to the target and rest my elbows on the ground, again keeping my hands in about the same position on the gun. Personally, I've always found a sitting position to be just as accurate and a whole lot more comfortable than a prone position, both with rifles and with a pistol like this, but I know some people swear by the prone position. Another thing about shooting prone with a stabilizing harness is that the fore-end strap may try to slip up over your head, which it generally won't do in any other position. Now let's talk about using the harness as a carrying aid. From a standing position, if you just lower the gun naturally, it should render across your chest in a position that I find quite comfortable if I'm just standing around or walking at a leisurely pace. However, if I want to run with the gun hanging from the harness, I prefer to rest my firing hand on top of the front handguard and pull the muzzle around to where the gun hangs under my arm. This way I've got complete control of the muzzle, and with the gun basically under my arm, it can't bounce around nearly as much as a carbine on a sling would. From this position, I can also still bring the gun right up into a firing position, so I don't really give up anything in terms of tactical readiness relative to wearing the gun across my chest. Now, if I have a situation where I'm not as concerned about tactical readiness and I just want the gun out of the way, I can pull my arm out of the loop and sling the gun across my back. Even from this position, though, it doesn't take that long to slip my arm back through the loop and bring the gun up in a firing position. So that's how I use a stabilizing harness on an AR-15 pistol. Thanks for watching the Idahoan Show.